Welcome everyone. Hip session today. Let's come onto our backs for a moment. And as you stay on your back, give yourself a moment to put your feet on the mat, to bend the knees. And before we do anything else, I want us to give ourselves a moment to start connecting to the breath. So you can leave your arms alongside your torso. Maybe you put them in a cactus shape or a T-letter shape, whichever place feels best. And see if you can, as you start becoming a little bit more connected to your breath, notice the movement in the front of your body, in the sides of your body, and also the back plane of your body. So instead of just staying mainly in the front, which is what we tend to be more aware of, we expand that awareness into the sides, the back, and any sensations arising as you connect with your body, expanding, swelling with the inhalation, and then narrowing as you exhale. Just a couple more like that. And see if you can also invite the inhale, the pause, and the exhale to be as even as you can make them, okay? Good. As we settle here, we take a moment, then slowly bring your knees towards your chest. Gently hug them both in with your hands and do a little bit of circling, flexing and pointing with your feet, moving the toes to start activating the joints and pumping blood into the legs. My cat is doing her yoga with us. Good. And then we're going to slowly start getting a little deeper into the hips. So first I'm going to press both knees, not towards my chest, but a little wider towards my armpits. And just stay here, feeling the flexion in your hip creases. Good. And then I'm going to put my left foot down on the mat again, like I had before, and with my right hand, I'm going to do a few circles. I'm actually going to try and make them big and slow so I can feel slowly more of the opening in that hip joint, okay? So I'm going a few times, simple and easy, just to feel, even like sometimes you can perhaps perceive the movement of the blood within the joints. And then I'm going to reverse it a few times. After the last repetition, I'm going to bring my knee again into the chest. And I'm going to now lace both my fingers and my hands right behind my right thigh. And instead of going up towards the knee, I'm going to come a little lower towards the thick part of my thigh. And then I'm going to push with my thigh into my hands. And I'm going to extend the right leg up. So I'm staying here for a moment. I'm grounding my right hip and my right sitting bone onto my mat. And I'm also trying to connect the lower belly into my spine. So I create more of a flat lower back so I can expand those muscles as well. Once I'm there and I keep the lower belly in, I'm going to do a movement like a windshield wiper with my toes and of course with the rest of my leg. So I'm taking my toes to the right and the left a few times. This may feel a little challenging because this is a rotation right on top of the hip socket, right? So the hip joint has this shape that it's a ball and socket. So what I'm doing is moving the head of the femur bone into that socket. Okay, so we are going a few times. Good. And then when we come back towards the neutral, now I'm going to release my arms to the sides. Like I said before, cactus, the letter, the one that feels best. And I'm going to keep that leg extended, and I'm going to push through the heel and then bring the leg extended all the way down, but I'm not going to touch the mat. So I'm getting down like a hair off the mat, and then I'm going to bend the knee and bring it again towards my chest. So it looks a little bit like a bicycle movement, okay? I'm going to push the leg up, then extend the leg all the way almost to the floor, and then I'm bringing the knee back into the chest. Again, inhale. And with the exhale, I'm going slow so I can tone my leg, but also get deeper into that hip joint. Good. 2 more. Inhaling. Exhale. Bring the knee to the chest. 1 more. Good. Once you come back to the chest, hug the knee in with both hands. Extend the left leg. And with the left hand, I'm going to bring that right hip over to the left side. I'm moving and I'm letting my right hip lift off the mat, of course, and I'm bringing my right knee over to the left, but that doesn't mean that the knee has to touch all the way down, okay? Make sure that you can rest your shoulders and that the right shoulder in particular is heavy. So it's not so important that the knee is touching down on the other side, but yes, that we balance the right knee and the right shoulder so we can create a stretch and opening in that right hip. If you want, you can bring the chin over to the right. Then I'm coming back to center, resetting my pelvis, hug the right knee in, and then bring that right foot down to the floor. We are going to switch sides. I'm bringing my left knee into the chest. Take a moment there, flex it a little more. So I'm pressing a little firmer into my chest. Good. And then I'm going to do circles, right? So I'm holding with my left hand. I'm trying to make that knee go in big, big circles. You can choose to have the right leg down if you prefer, or just the foot on the mat, okay? And I'm trying to go wide, noticing the sensation. Sometimes there are clicking sounds happening. And then I'm reversing. Good. Once we are back to the center, remember we are trying to bring that lower belly into the chair, into the spine. Sorry, so we keep the lower back more flat. And then I'm going to lace my fingers behind the left thigh. Instead of going towards the knee, I'm going a little lower with my left front thigh or quad muscles. I'm pressing into my hands, and then I'm sending my left leg up, okay? Stay there for a moment, ground the left sitting bone, draw the navel in, and then flexing the foot, I'm going to do that windshield wiper movement with the leg. So I'm going in and out a few times, noticing how sometimes it can feel a little challenging, that internal rotation for the hip. The external is easier, we are more used to, but the internal one, it's a little more tricky. So it's very good to hydrate the joint in this way. Then I'm coming back to center and I'm pushing still through the leg and the heel, and I'm going to release the arms to the sides, okay? So we're going to do that bicycle movement again. I'm inhaling and pressing the heel up to the skies, exhaling, leg extended, a hair off the mat, and then I'm bending the knee to the chest. 4 more like that. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Last time. We bring the knee in, we hug it into the chest one more time. Extend your right leg, and now with my right hand, I'm creating that twist, letting my left hip move over to the right. You can keep the left arm to the side. Remember, we want to try and balance the stretch and the opening in the left side of the body. So it's best if the shoulder is not completely, left shoulder, right? It's not completely off the floor. So you don't need to bring that left knee all the way down, okay? So try and find a little bit of a place in between. And breathe into that left side in your body. Besides the hips, of course, we are getting a little more into the intercostal muscles, going all the way up to that left shoulder. Soft face. If you want, you can bring the head over to the left. And then we return to center, back with both knees bent, feet on the floor. Now I'm going to widen my feet a little bit more over my hips, right? So a little wider. If you are working on top of a mat, then you go with the feet towards the edges of your mat. If you're just on the floor, make sure that they are wider than your sitting bones and hips, okay? And from there, I'm going to keep my arms to the sides again. I don't have a lot of space here, so I'm just putting my arms into the cactus shape. But we're going to now do the windshield wipers with both legs going side to side several times. So now we are going straight into that internal and external rotation for the legs and the knees and the hips a few times. Good. And then the next time that you go over to the right side, let the right foot come on top of your left knee or thigh and create a gentle, very gentle pressure of that right foot on top of the leg. And if you can, extend the arms overhead, touch the left forearm and pull a little further above your head. One full breath here. Then I'm releasing the arms, releasing the right foot, back up with my knees and making sure that my feet are wide again. And then I'm sending both knees over to the left. Left foot on top of the right thigh. If this is too intense in your lower back, you can return with that left foot down to the floor, okay? And then from there, I'm extending my arms again overhead. This time I'm catching my right forearm and pulling a little bit further up above my head and staying for a full breath. Then I'm releasing legs and arms back to the top. I'm bringing both my knees in. I'm going to rock a little bit side to side. Good, and then I'm going to cross my right leg over the left one completely. So my right knee ends more or less on top of my left knee. And if you can, you're going to catch your shins. If your arms are long enough that you can catch your feet, you're going to catch that and you bring them towards you. So we are getting into the outer hips here, inhaling and exhaling. And one more time. Good, and I'm switching sides. Left leg over the right one, my left knee is on top of the right, and I'm catching anywhere in between the shins, the feet. If you cannot do any of those, you can just grab your knees and bring them towards the chest. Trying to breathe in a 360-degree angle way, so the front, the sides, and the back of the body get benefited by that space that you're creating and the energy you're bringing in the body, okay? Then we release that, put your feet down, take one arm overhead so you can roll over to the side, and we are going to come into hands and knees. If you need padding for your knees, like a blanket or anything like that, please do. And from here, we're going to play a little bit again with hips. So what I'm going to do is to keep this tabletop. I'm going to bring my right knee towards the front, but I'm going to cross the right foot right in front of my left knee. So it looks like I'm drawing a number 4 shape, but yes, a number 4 shape, but I'm in a tabletop, right? So I'm going to stay here. This may be already a lot. See if you can swing a little bit back and a little bit forward. A little back and forward. And again, one more. Then I'm coming back to the tabletop. Good, you center yourself, and then from there, I'm taking that right leg out of that number 4, and I'm going to extend it to the side like I'm showing. And I'm going to make my right toes point forward, the same direction of my fingers, okay? And I'm going to keep that, and now I'm going to swing again, going all the way to the back, or of course, up to the point that you can go, and then to the front. And again, back and front. 2 more. Good. When you come back to that neutral, that means that the pelvis is above your left knee. Then from there, we are going to press into the left hand so it's grounded, and see if you can open the right arm and chest up to the skies. Take one inhalation here. Then exhale, bring the right hand down. Keep the shape in the legs and push yourself up. So I have left knee and right arch more or less in the same plane. I'm standing tall, and I'm going to put my right hand on my right thigh. I'm firing my glutes so they are toned. I'm going to send the left arm up towards the skies, and then I'm going to slide over to the right. Chest is facing forward. I'm getting a big stretch in the left side of the body, but I'm also firming my hips and sending my sacrum or tailbone down to the earth. Good, then I'm coming back to the center or the neutral, and I'm gonna go over to the other side. I don't have a lot of space, but possibly you do. So now I'm going to put my left hand down, extend my right arm up, and if you have the space, you're gonna bring that right arm over the head towards the left. And again, I'm going to squeeze the glutes, try to keep the chest going forward, and you can rest the neck and the head heavy. Good, then I'm pushing the floor, coming back up, and I'm going to bring that right knee in and sit back for a moment. Take a deep breath. And exhale. I'm going to switch sides because of space. Good, let's go on to the second side. I'm coming back into my tabletop, and we start with that number 4 shape like we did on the other side. So I'm going to bring my left knee forward, left foot in front of my left knee, and I have that number 4, okay? This is already working the outer hips, maybe you feel it, and I'm gonna go a little more. It's not very far, okay? I'm just swinging a couple of times. Good. And then once I get to the neutral again, I'm going to take that leg out to the side this time. My toes are pointing forward, same as my hands. And then from there, I'm gonna go back all the way to the heel or anywhere in that direction and back. Good, one more. We are swinging. Nice. When you get back to that neutral, press firmly. We are going to keep the right hand down. We are going to twist to the left, opening the chest, then bringing the hand out. Beautiful. Now I'm staying here, and what we are going to do is to push ourselves towards a tall spine, right? And I'm going to line up knee with my arch, so I have more or less the same plane for the legs. I'm firing my glutes. I'm going to put my left hand on top of the left thigh and pressing firmly into my left foot. Right arm goes up, inhaling. And with the exhale, I'm sliding over that left leg, chest facing forward. Then I'm coming back up. Beautiful. Now we are doing the other side. I'm going to change so you can see it from the front, okay? So same thing, but I'm putting my right hand down. Left foot is pressing down. I'm firing my glutes, opening the belly and also the chest, sending the left arm up and over. And you can let the head drop if you want. Take a deep breath in and out. Good. Then push. Come back up. Good. We come back into the knees, both. Bring the hands down, and we are going to curl the toes under so we can lift ourselves into down dog. Look at the hands. Take the fingertips a little bit out to the sides, and then look at your feet. Make them be parallel to one another, bending the knees, pushing the mat away. We are going to give ourselves here a little moment to swing the hips side to side. And also to push the trunk towards the legs. Press firmly into the balls of your feet and send the hip creases as high up as you can. Good. Then from there, I'm going to walk with my feet towards my hands. And instead of coming all the way up, what I'm going to do is to cross my right leg over the left one. I have my foot all the way to the left. And then from there, without locking my knees are slightly bent. I'm going to draw my lower belly in and drop my trunk over the legs. You may feel this already in your hips or your hamstrings. If you need support under the hands and to be a little higher, just bring anything you have at home, okay? We take a couple of breaths. Let the neck become long and the head heavy. And then I'm going to slowly bring my hands to my hips, elbows pointing up, push through your feet, lengthen the heart forward and come up. Let's switch legs, shake it a little. And I'm going to now cross my left leg over the right one to the other side, right? So now my left foot is next to the right one. Like if I switch, right, the position, and from there, again, my knees are not locked, they are soft, but I'm hugging my hips into one another. I'm bringing my lower belly into my spine. And from there, I'm going to come back into my standing forward fold. When you get to the place that you're going, make sure again that you draw that lower belly in, you release the torso, the neck, the head, and my knees, again, they are not locked into one another, they are soft. And I'm trying to bring the weight of my body towards my toes a little. So I'm not pushing too far back into my hips. Breathing long and steady, fluid mind, fluid breath. Letting the neck become long to stretch the neck muscles. Good, and then from there I'm going to uncross the legs. And we are going to take the toes to face out to the sides, bending the knees. We are coming towards a squat. So I'm bringing my arms inside my legs. I'm going to show it like this. And if you can, you wiggle a little bit, moving the hips side to side. This is good for the inner line of your legs, developing more strength there. And then if you want, you stay at the center. If this shape feels like it's a little bit too intense, you can always have a support under the sitting bones. So it's a seated squat, which is great as well. Or if your heels don't touch the floor, you can always roll a blanket and put the blanket underneath the heels, okay? Good, another breath. Good, then from here, I'm going to bring my hands behind, sit myself down, extend the legs and wiggle them a little bit. And then remember when we started the session that we did on our backs, we crossed one leg on top of the other so the knees were more or less lined up. We are going to try and do the same here. So I'm going to send one leg under, one leg on top. And I have again one knee trying to stay more or less above the other knee. Now this one is a shape that it doesn't work for everyone. So maybe you're trying to cross your legs one on top of the other and it doesn't work out. So if that doesn't work out, you start opening the legs more and more towards a cross leg position, and you find the place where you feel, okay, this is the place that I can hold, and that's totally fine, okay? So it's a little more open, but it will still work your hips. So anywhere from here, a little more, right? Like I said, wherever you land, if you can with your hands, you hold your feet. If you have a shape that more or less is in this neighborhood, and you sit tall, relax the shoulders down, let them melt, elongate through the crown of the head, take a deep breath in, deep breath out. For the ones who want to add a little more in the sense of an extra step, if it's okay, firm the hips into one another, like if someone is pressing them in, and let the torso come forward a little. Any amount, okay? Because it will become more intense in your hips. Good, and then we slowly bring it back. I don't have a lot of time, that's why I'm doing short each thing. Okay, so now I'm opening the legs, shaking them a little bit, and I'm just going to switch sides. So the leg that was on top, now it will be my under leg, and I'm crossing my opposite thigh on top, okay? And if you can, you catch the feet, you sit tall, lengthen the sides of your torso without lifting the shoulders. Invite the shoulders to roll back and down, and then relax them there. Elongate the spine, the neck, all the way to the crown of the head. Firm the hips into one another, like if someone is pressing them in, and then your choice if you want to add a little bit of that forward fold. Good, I'm walking myself back. I'm going to keep the same leg that I have on top and twist over to your left, just giving yourself a little moment there to elongate and shift the belly and the chest over to one side. Then back to center. Good, let's cross opposite leg again and go over to the other side. Good, back to center we go. Now from here, I'm going to just cross a regular cross leg position. Any leg you want to put in front, it's fine. And you cross more or less at the shin area, but the way you can, okay? And from here, we are going to inhale, send the arms up overhead. And with the exhale, we let our torsos come down and forward and release there. So we stretch the lumbars, we stretch the hips, and we are also giving ourselves a little bit of an extra opening in the hamstrings. Good, and then I'm slowly walking myself back up. Good. Let's inhale, arms up overhead one more time. Lace the fingers, press your palms up, push. Exhale, palms together into the heart. And in gratitude, guys, we close this hip session today. I hope to see you next week again. Let's bow into our hearts in gratitude. Namaste.